So then I would just say follow your guts and run with it. Like shut out everyone's opinions, because at the end of the day, you have to focus on your life and what you want, because you're not living, no one's living your life for you. So why are you trying so hard to please them?
Gotta live your truth.
Live your truth.
Yeah. Hey y'all, D. Foss here with the LT360 Podcast. My goal is to connect you with the very people that are going to make you understand how and why to create a limitless lifestyle on a day-to-day basis. So my guest today, sitting live with me right here in person for the first time in more than 5 years, we'll get into that, is the owner of her brand new company, an awesome company that is really providing some awesome perspective into how fashion and spirituality can connect. The owner of Fluoresce, Betty Quinonez.
Absolutely. Hey guys, that's me. I am Betty. And let's see, should I just give a little background?
A little background, let's hear it.
All right, so I am from Rhode Island. I am here in Florida today with Dylan. And we've known each other for over 7 years. We actually went to high school together. So that's how we are familiar with one another. Let's see. So I have my master's degree at the moment. I also received my bachelor's. And I recently started my own company called Fluoresce. Yeah. So do we dive into...
Let's go back. Let's turn the clock back a little bit. So Cranston East, you went to Bain first.
I did. I went to Hugh B. Bain first.
Yeah.
I went to Cranston. Hugh B. That's what it's called. Hugh B. Bain. I went to Hugh B. Bain.
I always forget that though.
I'm a proud student. Cranston East was next.
Yeah.
Where we met one another. That's a fact.
Wow, that's crazy. All these like memories of high school are just popping in my head.
Oh my God, do we want to remember those?
way back then. It's weird. But kind of let's skip from high school, because we weren't like super close. We never really had any like major connections while we were there. We were always chilling. We were always cool.
Dylan was the cool kid. He was way too cool for me. He was on the basketball team, right?
Yeah, I played ball, but no, that definitely was not it. I was cool with a little bit of everybody. That's how it was back then. But after high school, what kind of drove you? Where did you see yourself going? How did you end up at the one and only Bentley University?
Absolutely. So when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to own my own business. Like I knew that was my end goal. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to have my own business. So I knew I wanted to go to a college that mainly focused on business, but I also wanted it to be a smaller environment. So it could be smaller classrooms, like a little more engaging, a little more personal. So I was actually narrowing down between Bryant and Bentley.
Okay.
And then Bentley was where I ended up, and it was a great choice.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy. I only visited the campus once, and it was for my interview.
You just jumped right in.
I just went. I was like, this is the one. It's gonna work. I have faith. Boom. I'm going.
I think I went to Anna Maria, and then I bounced back to LaSalle. And do you remember Matt Corey?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I went to school with Eric originally, and then Matt was at this other school, and I was like, I gotta leave this other place. It's just not for me. So I ended up just being like, I visited Matt once while he was the freshman there, and I was like, you know what? This place seems pretty cool. I'm gonna go.
We just know. You just gotta follow your gut.
Yeah, honestly. So now, what were some of like the signs? Because there's a lot of people out there that like, I want to be an entrepreneur now. What are some of the signs when you were in high school that were like, no, like this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do.
Okay. Let's see. It's funny because I actually, at my beginning of my high school career, I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Okay.
Very different, right? Yeah. Very different. And then
but it all plays together. I see how that can connect.
And then I realized it was way too much science for me. I was not a science person. So I was like, all right, we got to switch this up. And I don't know. So for some reason, business just came to me. Like, I think, I took an accounting course, and it came very naturally to me. And I know accounting could be very difficult for some people. So
it was for me, that's for sure.
yeah, and then I think I loved my teacher as well, so that really helped. And from that moment on, I just kind of, that's where it came to me. Like, I knew business was kind of my calling because it just came naturally. So from that class, I took another business course in high school, and I loved it. So
cool. So now, a lot of people obviously can have like awesome business careers, but not necessarily own their own business. Okay. So how does that play out into becoming an entrepreneur and knowing like, nah, I have the personality where I want to make the decisions. I'm the one, like maybe in group classes or group projects in high school. I know that's how I was. I was like, you know what? You're really not about this. So I'm just going to take over. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to wait for you. I'm going to make the decisions. I'm just going to roll with it. Is that very much how you were?
Let's see. Yeah, like I feel like I definitely had those leadership characteristics. Okay. But I was very like neutral about it. Like if people wanted to take the lead, like I would let them. But in the back of my head, I'll be like, you can do it a little better. But
that's all right. We could do this.
So then, let's see. So then, to answer your question, I would say, let me see. The question was, it was kind of like, how do I know business was my thing?
Not just business, but like there's a difference between being like the number two in a company that, you know, you're running everything, you're the CFO maybe, but you didn't found it. You're not making the, you know, the everlasting decisions on the company. So like that's the difference between entrepreneurship and like being that business person. So where did that kind of come in?
For sure. So then I would say when I came out of my college career,
Your bachelor's?
My bachelor's. I took on a corporate job. And then, so I started working at Target as a manager. Okay. And from that point, I got the experience in which I was just a person in a company. So it was great experience, great managerial experience. I definitely got the knowledge I was looking for, but it wasn't fulfilling. Like I knew it just wasn't for me in the long run. Like I don't want to put anyone down out there, but it's just those people are so replaceable.
Yeah,
so replaceable. So.
And that doesn't put down anybody that likes to go to work and do what they do, but they just have to be content with the idea that tomorrow they could easily be replaced, and you know, no one's really gonna skip a beat. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
So I just kind of knew that I had that idea in my head, like these people are very replaceable. So going into my managerial career, I just knew that I just wanted the experience. I wanted to learn how to work with people, how to work with different mindsets, because everyone's so different. And so I just wanted those managerial skills. I was building up my skills, but I always knew in the back of my mind that this was my temporary job. Like, I'm just here to get the skills.
It's a stepping stone.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm here to get those skills, and then I'm out. Like, at that point, I will be ready to own my own business. Like, I will be ready to kind of start that next step. So I'll continue a little further. So then,
I was just going to say, so that rolls perfectly into starting your own.
Okay. So then, well, after Target, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to start my own business.
Cool.
So
self-aware.
Yes, very so. Ooh, cut that out. Perfect timing. So then I knew I wasn't ready to leap into my own business, but I knew I wanted more time. So I wanted to transition into that process. Yeah. So I took a pay decrease. So I literally took a pay cut, and I went to a franchise-owned business, and I was a store manager there. So I was working less hours, which is what I wanted, but I also got a pay cut, which kind of sucked. Yeah. But it's okay, because I knew in the my end goal was to become an entrepreneur and work for myself. So while I was at this franchise business, I was working on my business. I was working on creating Fluoresce. So I was ordering my inventory. I was like kind of setting up all the behind the scenes. And when
you didn't have to work as much there.
Exactly. I had more time for myself. So I was able to actually begin my goals, my future project. And let's see. So then when I knew I was ready, or let's see. So when I felt that I had done enough that I could part-time, I quit my job. Yeah, so January 2nd of this year, 2020 is the year. So I quit my job, and I decided to become an entrepreneur full time. So then at that point, I feel like I had all the necessary bases to kind of flourish with my own business.
Flourish with Fluoresce.
Flourish with Fluoresce, yes.
That should be your shirt.
Yes, Dylan, I'm gonna come. Can I have that? Okay.
I got you.
So then that's when I was like, all right, I'm good with this job. I got all the skills I need. I know how to work with people, and I've done all that I could part-time. I need to dedicate all of my energy to my business. So that's how Fluoresce came about.
Savage. So, all right, when did you finish your master's degree?
I actually finished in December last year, 2019.
So 2019. So that's why you were like, okay, full time, I'm in it.
Full time, yeah. So then I was done with school. I was ready to quit my job. I already had like
the foundation set for Fluoresce.
Exactly. And I felt like I was ready to go. Like I knew it within me. I was like, there's no more waiting. Like it's never going to be perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. So it's just, I felt that at that moment, I was ready to take that leap, put like fate into my own hands, and then just learn as I go.
Yeah, that's 100%. It's not that you had all the skills you're ever going to need, but you had the ones that you needed to start. And if you go into it with the mindset of like, I can just grow day in and day out, and every situation that comes about, I'm going to learn, I'm going to get better from, whether it, puts me on my ass or not, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
You once you're in that mindset, there's really nothing that's going to like stop your progress, which is kind of where I want to go from there. You had that kind of self-awareness. Now, was that something that was like really taught and like involved and like put into your life at a young age, or was that something that like you left high school and came about? Was that something that like I just didn't catch in high school that you were like super tuned into? How did all that play out?
So I would say I was pretty aware of the fact that I wanted to own my own business. Okay, so I was aware of the fact that I wanted to own my own business in high school, but I had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea what it was going to flourish into. And so then it's very funny because when I went into Benton University, I actually switched my whole idea, my whole career. Like I took accounting as my major.
From marine biology.
Yeah. And instead of taking management, which is obviously seems more aligned with what I knew I wanted to do, I got caught up with everyone else's opinions. I kept hearing accounting is the best career. You're going to make so much money. It comes naturally to you. Give it a shot. So I was like, all right, why not? Like I'm getting A's in this class. Like I could do this. Why not? Boom. So I literally detoured my whole life, took an accounting internship, like did not love it at all. I knew it was not for me. And then I just got absorbed with everyone else's opinions. So luckily, thank God, I came back into my senses and I realized it wasn't for me. So then in my junior year, it took me like 3 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
In my
never quick, right?
Never. But it's okay. It was a learning lesson.
Yeah, you got to endure it.
For sure. So in my junior year, I decided, all right, I want to switch it back. I'm going back to management. This is not me. Accounting is not me. And I couldn't switch my major because it was way too late. But it's okay because accounting is the basis of like every business. And so coming out of Bentley, that's when I got back on track. I knew, all right, I want to do my own thing. I want to own my own business, but I still didn't know what it was going to be. So that's
interesting.
Literally. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, damn, Betty, you're about to graduate. What are you going to do? So I was like, I'm going to go get my master's.
There you go. I know I'm not ready for it, but I can go do that.
Yeah, I was like, I'll get some more schooling done. Why not? So once again,
where did you do your master's?
At the University of Rhode Island.
Okay, you are. Was it online or was it all like in person or combination?
It was in the Providence campus. So it was the same thing, like lecture-based classrooms, very small and personal.
Sweet.
Just because that's how I prefer to learn. And so then in my master's degree, like during that process is when I was doing those 2 managerial jobs. And when I came to realize like Fluoresce was more of the business that I wanted to take on. So then in December 2019, that's when I graduated with my master's. I already started the foundation for Fluoresce, and just I knew 2 years later, after starting my master's degree, like everything was coming back into place.
True.
Yeah.
Felt like the right path to go down.
Exactly.
That's what's up. Now you mentioned like, thank God that like I just kind of came to my senses and realized accounting wasn't for me. For one, you mentioned that you kind of got into that whole situation because you just cared about people's opinions.
Yeah.
What do you have for advice now that you've gone through that, for people? Because there's a lot of people out there listening to chatter.
Absolutely. I've thought about this so much because it kind of made me feel like, wow, I don't want to say I wasted 3 years of my life, but I reprioritized 3 years of my life. So instead of I could have possibly started my business sooner and realized my calling sooner had I not detoured from it and took accounting. So for anyone out there, I would say definitely follow your gut. Like if you know you have an idea that you want to run with, do not let anyone's opinions like alter your decision, because ultimately you're going to go back on course. It's just going to detour you. So you're prolonging this process because you're listening to other people.
Yeah.
So then I would just say follow your guts and run with it. Like shut out everyone's opinions, because at the end of the day, you have to focus on your life and what you want, because no one's living your life for you. So why are you trying so hard to please them?
Gotta live your truth.
Live your truth. Yeah. You know what you want to do. So like, do it.
Yeah. I think a lot of us, for one, we're worried about like hurting the people closest to us. And for two, we have that general, like human need to want to connect with people. And when you put yourself in a certain demographic of people or a certain group of people, like say college, right? You feel the need to like, well, I'm going to be here for 4 years. Let me just try to make as many friends as possible by like going with them. And I think that comes back to the fact that like we'd rather have 3 or 4 really close friends and like true than 8 to 10 that like, are kind of waiting for you to fail kind of thing.
For sure.
So we kind of chatted about this earlier too. When you started your business, right? Who was there? Who was there for support? How did that play out? Because it's something that I've experienced, something that I've talked with a lot of different people about. Did you feel like, damn, everyone's got my back? Did you feel like this is a lot of support? Like I can't even imagine having this much support. How was that?
So, okay. So I would say when I started my business, I had an idea of who I assumed was going to be there, like rooting for me, like on my side. I was like, yeah, she's going to be there. He's going to be there. Like I got all these people. I'm good. Everything's fine. And then as I launched my business, it was not like that at all, at all. So the people I thought would have my back and be very supportive were not as supportive as I would have wished and hoped for. So that was a little devastating. That was a little hard for me at first, but then like I quickly snapped out of it. And I realized that at the end of the day, I can't let that affect me, because that's just going to hold me back. Like if I'm waiting for these people's validation, I'm not going to move forward. So to my surprise, like I've had many supporters, but they're not at all who I expected at all. And I'm very thankful for that, because it made me realize that if you're not going to support me now, then I don't want you to be in my corner later. Like don't come around when I'm doing well. Just like support me now. And if you're there, like on my sidelines, like I got you in the future. Like we're all going to grow together.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Collaborate and grow together. If you're not moving, not worse, then damn it, you're gonna be with me at my best.
That's a fact.
But got people outside yelling. If we were to like take a snapshot of what you just said, I think the biggest thing is those first like 2 or 3 sentences that you said, like who you expected almost to be there by your side. I think a lot of us, to go back to the fact of like, who do I listen to? Do I like listen to people's opinions and this, that, and the next? I think if there's two things that anybody can learn out there, it's one, that you can't expect anything from anybody. You have to just do you. And two is that like those opinions are not going to get you closer to where you want to be. So they're not going to fulfill you in any way. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're going to take an idea and run with it and try to show it to the world, as an entrepreneur, you definitely can't lack in either one of those two things.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So now that's like constant work, right? Like some people don't realize how much work, self-awareness you have to like constantly do in order to have that mindset and just be like, nah, it's all good. I'm going to get better tomorrow. I'm going to get better tomorrow. I'm going to get better tomorrow. So what do you do on a daily basis? What things play out in your life on a daily basis that help you stay positive in that mindset?
Okay, that's a great question.
Thanks.
So that is an awesome question, Dylan. And people need to hear this too. So I think like I'm very thankful that you asked me that. So a few things that I've incorporated into my routine that have really helped me like stand firm with my beliefs and know my value. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did that before this video, by the way, so I'm killing it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay. So then, I lost my train of thought. So you're too funny. Stop it.
My bad.
Okay, so then,
how to on a daily basis keep up with that mindset.
Perfect. Thank you. Back on track. So a few things that I've incorporated into my routine that have really helped me like stay firm with my beliefs and my value is that I choose to meditate every morning. Cool. So I meditate every morning. I do a few, like some visualization, some affirmations, and that just allows me to consistently tell myself who I am, like what are my beliefs and who I want to be in the future. So by me telling myself all of these things and who I am, it allows me to go throughout my day just kind of showing people what it is that I just told myself in the morning. True. So I'm not letting other people's opinions penetrate like my bubble, because I am very strong and I know who I am. So I choose to meditate in the morning. And I've also been doing a lot of reading lately. So a lot of like self-help books, motivational books. And one book that I recently read that I actually very much loved was The 4 Agreements. Have you read it?
I think my sister has it in her room.
Oh, you gotta get it. You gotta get it. Like crack it open.
It's been on my list. I have a lot of books. I have like probably 60 or 70 books on the list.
Nice. Reading is such a great habit, like such a great hobby. So 2 affirmations that stuck with me and that I'm constantly telling myself every day is, do not take anything personally. Mm-hmm. And that plays into other people's opinions. Like whatever other people do it shows their emotions. Mm-hmm. So if someone tells you this, I was actually very shocked when I read this. So if people tell you, wow, Betty, good job, you're doing so great, you cannot take that personally, even the good things, because that's just what's the word I'm looking for? It just shows how they're feeling at the moment. So if they're angry or upset, you could be the worst person in the world. Mm-hmm. They could hate you right now.
Yeah.
But if they're
for that split second,
yeah. And if they're happy, if they had the best morning ever, you're the most amazing person to them in the world. So
it may have nothing to do with you
at all. So you cannot take anyone's opinions personally, whether they are good or bad, and do not make assumptions. Mm-hmm. So
or expect things from people, right?
Exactly. So do not, literally my first 2 sentences, I thought these people would be here for me. I assumed, which can lead to disappointments because that's what I'm expecting. But no, like do not make assumptions. Just kind of go with the flow. And the energy that you put out is what you're going to receive. So that's honestly like my biggest motto lately, and I'm sticking to it. It's working for me. So
staying strong.
Yes.
So it's just those 2 things.
Well, there's more agreements, but I'll let you read the book.
No, not the agreements. Because I agree. I definitely need to read it myself. I don't want you sharing the whole thing. The 2 things that you're doing on a daily basis, is there more? Is there anything else that you feel like plays into keeping a positive mindset?
Okay.
Because I have some things that I don't know if you're going to touch on, but.
Okay. I'll touch on one more thing. So something else I do is I list out what I'm grateful for and thankful for on a daily basis. And then
What time of day?
I do that in the end of the day. So I like to reflect on it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also, like, I would say throughout the day, I kind of check up on my energy. So I kind of think back to myself. I say, all right, Betty, how are you doing mentally? Are you good? Like, what do you need? Do you need a little more? Do you need to do a little more work? Are you lacking that? Like, how are you feeling physically? Have you gone to the gym? Are you worn out? Like, I just like to check up on my energies. And then lastly would be spiritually. Like, how are you feeling spiritually?
Cool.
So just making sure my energies are balanced. That really works for me.
Now, do you find that like happening, like you have a conversation with someone and you're like, I probably could have handled that a little bit differently, or like yesterday I might have saw that in a different light. Is that kind of when like those things click and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should like take 5 minutes? Or is it like you're just sitting there and kind of like, okay, this is it. I need to do something different.
I would say, like, how do I recognize what it is that I need to do for myself?
Yeah, how do you create that habit loop of like something triggered you quick, whether it's good, bad, ugly or like minimal, it doesn't matter. But there's always a trigger, and then there's a what's the next step, and then let's take that action piece to get back.
Okay. So I would say it's a combination of both. Like, if there is something that triggered me, then when it's over, I like to reflect, like maybe step back and figure out like, okay, why did that trigger me?
So that's just a habit you have. You're just like, okay, as soon as something goes on, I know after that I'm like setting aside 5 minutes to think about it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
And then I would also say, like, at the end of the day, like, I kind of just like to just go back and reflect through my day. Like, how am I feeling overall at the end of the night?
Do you journal or anything, or is it just kind of like that thankful and gratitude?
So I do journal.
Okay,
I do.
Cool.
I journal because I like to go back and read where I was, like, in my past.
Yes.
And I like to reflect where I am today. So I just kind of like to compare.
Nice. I started doing that, I want to say in like 2016, like quite a few years ago.
Okay. What do you journal about?
Same stuff. How I'm feeling, what my goals are currently at that time, where I see myself, things that are bothering me, why they might be bothering me, those kinds of things. And it's funny, the last year or so, I used to wake up, I would meditate, I would take a cold shower, I would eat my breakfast. At the end of the day, write down 5 things I'm grateful for. I would read, I would actually do a Spanish lesson. Like, I would try to stimulate the mind a little bit and then go to bed. And it's funny, the last like year or so, all of those things have kind of fallen to the wayside, but I wake up with so much clarity that I almost feel like I don't even need to do it. It's very strange. Okay. It's been like, I just know that, like, all right, I have a bunch of different stuff to do, and I don't need to remind myself why I need to do it, because for the last 4 or 5 years, I've just drilled that into my head. Yeah. And I have like that constant 10-year vision. It's already there. 5-year vision. It's already there. So I go back and forth sometimes, but the gratitude thing I started back in college. I used to take Post-it notes. I would write them down on Post-it notes, awesome. And I would stick them on my bed. And then at the end of every month, so it'd have like 29 or 30 or 31 of them right there next to my bed. And then at the end of the month, I'd take them down and I'd look at them. I'd be like, oh, I remember that day. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And then I would actually just throw them in the trash. I'd be like, all right, next, like clean slate.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's funny too, because I have journals from, like I said, like 4 or 5 years ago, and some of them are even like in my laptop. Oh, wow. And I can like go back and like read some of the stuff, and it's really funny. I'm like, wow, awesome. At 18, at 19, like, what was I thinking? Yeah. It's totally, it's cool, right? To be able to reflect and see like where you were, how much you've grown. And that in and of itself makes you want to go more. Where I think a lot of people, their lack of reflection or their lack of like, hey, this triggered me, right? Now take 5 minutes and like reflect on why or how. And then if they don't do that, they never really see how they're growing in like a social standpoint or like from a personal, spiritual standpoint.
Yeah. And then also, like, to play off of that, if you don't reflect on why it triggered you, it will just continue to trigger you.
Yes.
Like, it'll continue to be a problem moving
Yeah.
forward until you deal with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So now the other two things, you kind of mentioned one of them that I think on a daily basis people overlook for keeping a positive mindset. The one that you kind of mentioned was exercise, which is funny because we ran into each other at the most random gym yesterday morning. It was like, what? How? This makes no sense. So exercise, how do you said you make sure that I exercise. How do you think that helps with positivity?
Absolutely. So I feel like people, they exercise for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And me personally, I exercise for my mental health. Like, I like to exercise because for me, it's like a stress reliever. So if I've had an overwhelming day, or if I'm just full of emotions, like very flustered, or even if I'm just having a good day, like the emotion just eases me. Like, I go in, I do my cardio, I stretch, like I tell myself like positive things while I'm working out. So it's honestly something that I look forward to doing. And I've gotten to the point where if I don't work out, if I don't exercise, it almost feels unnatural to me. Like, my body's telling me, what's up, girl, when you go to the gym? Like, hello.
It's funny, people don't think about that, but we're the first like locomotive animals ever to be on 2 feet. We have an itch to move. Like, it's in our DNA that we should be moving on a daily basis, but yet we sit so much. So people, they don't catch that itch, especially, I think it's especially a problem with males, that if they don't itch that, they have to learn to take that energy out somewhere else. And you have so much rage that comes out with a lot of that. People just like, they go off the deep end.
Okay. I didn't know that because I'm not a male. So that's how you guys handle this?
No, I'm saying like people, I feel like that plays out in a lot of people's relationships and like, and with males in general, like you see guys like roughhousing, right? That was in high school, right? You're always like feeling a need to just like be rambunctious or move around and be an animal, be like the beast you are, right? So I think when people get sedentary and they don't itch that on a daily basis, it turns into like coming home and yelling at kids or spouses or things of that nature. And all that stuff plays out over time. And you get this, not only that, you get dopamine and serotonin, right, when you work out, which are positive hormones. And then you feel aesthetically better, or you may look aesthetically better. That brings a self-confidence, that brings awareness and things like that. So I think all that stuff plays out super funny. And the other thing, which I want to dive into with you, is nutrition.
Okay.
So you obviously have a nutritional regimen. How does that play out for you? Why did you choose that route? And how does that kind of coincide with nature like we have behind us and positive mindset?
Absolutely. So I am actually a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since September of 2019. And I decided to take
like 4 months.
So about 4 months, yeah. And I've decided to take that path because I don't have any diseases at the moment, like no autoimmune diseases, like nothing I need to worry about. But I chose that path because I want to be preventative with my health. Like, I don't want to hear in the future that I have diabetes or all these things that I could have prevented now.
True.
So I'm choosing to be proactive with my diet because I treat my food as medicine. Like, I don't want to rely on these pills or just this Western medicine. Like, I choose to go natural. So I do like my tea, like I eat plants, fruits, veggies. Like, your plate should always have a bunch of colors on it because that means something. So, and I also feel that it helped play into my mindset because someone had told me this in the past, but they said once you're conscious about what you're putting into your body and aware of that, you become a little more compassionate about other things as well. So I do feel like that my diet has helped me become a little more compassionate, caring, like just empathetic, aware. And I feel a little more whole since I've done that. Like, I just feel so much better. Like, even you guys may not even know this, but one of, yes, it's so serious. Like I saw a documentary on Netflix, and the world's a lot of those. There's a lot of those, but like the world's strongest bodybuilder is a vegan or a vegetarian. So if you think that you can only get your protein from meat, that's not accurate. Like there's other options as well for you.
So in terms of, because I have a funny opinion on all of those documentaries. I think all of these diets that are coming to light are they all have a place in medicine. They should be used as prescriptions.
Okay.
But they're as always, right, in human society, our binomial brain, our binary, thinking process is like, now you got to choose black or white. It's one side or the other. But it's awesome to just hear how you see that stuff playing out, because for a lot of people, they don't think about, well, if I actually give thought into what goes into my body and I care about it, then that just shows myself that I care about myself on a subconscious level. So now when I wake up, I'm not like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to do whatever's in front of me. I'm just going to open my phone and listen to the first 75 Facebook posts and like not think about where do I want to be or what do I want to put out into the world. I always say create, don't consume.
Okay.
Right? Like, let's get my thoughts out there, and ideas in are ideas out, right? You have to learn something in order to be able to translate that into something that you think is shareable. But I think a lot of people don't understand that same energy that you take into your body is what becomes your next skin cell. It's what becomes your taste buds. It's what becomes your hair. And that energy spills back out too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was powerful, Dylan. Wow. Like I've honestly, like I've noticed these things in my life because I am incorporating it into my routine, and it's kind of like unfolding while I grow. But I never just kind of sat down and thought about that, how people
it plays out in other people's lives, or like not doing it plays out.
Yeah, like how if you are aware of like what you're putting into your body, you're more aware of other things too. Like you said, like your morning routine, like
simple.
So key. Wow.
Yeah. And the same thing can hold true, right? You become aware of your morning routine, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I feel better. Maybe I shouldn't just eat like a sausage, egg, and cheese from Dunkin' Donuts. That doesn't feel right all of a sudden after I meditate. Whereas if I open Facebook and I see a Dunkin' Donuts ad while I'm scrolling through Facebook, Dunkin' Donuts, when I finally 25 minutes later decide to get my lazy ass out of bed, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't seem so bad because I have, I can run by there quick and go through the drive-through. And that just like, now I get to work and I eat something bad and I have a coffee and I didn't check it and it's the wrong one, and I have first world problems and I'm mad at everybody in the office. I don't think people like realize how like those dots connect throughout the day.
I agree.
So going back to that whole like process of becoming aware and cultivating that on a daily basis, do you find that your friend groups are changing? Do you find that like you have certain people that you're like really able to connect about this stuff and have conversations, and other ones you're like, I don't know if I should even talk about this because like it's just gonna make them feel some type of way?
Yes, that's yes, 100%.
Yes.
I can't say yes more. Like, but that's absolutely true. I definitely have noticed that I have. So something I like to tell myself is surround yourself with the people that you want to become, like in the future. So lately I've been surrounding myself a little more with people that just have similar characteristics or routines as I. So I've been hanging out with people more that are a little more spiritual. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't chill with people that eat meat, but but I do. Like my closest friend group, they all are plant-based as well, surprisingly. Wow. I was actually the last one to join the bandwagon. So
you have no place to talk.
Literally no place.
We're lucky we kept you around.
I just made the cut. So then, but yeah, so I would just say like I try to surround myself with people that I aspire to become. Like we all have very similar characteristics. We all have like a growth mindset, and I just want to grow with them. So, but don't get me wrong, like I still have friends that we maybe don't have like similarities 100%, or like we're not 100% aligned, but that's okay. You just need to kind of keep it balanced. Like you just need to, yeah.
And as long as you're not expecting those people to change, or you're not, assuming that they're going to support your decisions, then there's no grudges to be held. There's no like animosity to be, thrown in between. There's no tension. It just is what it is. You realize, this person has good energy when I'm feeling that type of way. Like, I'm going to go over there for that reason. I'm going to chill with that person and get that out. And then, I'll go back to my day-to-day stuff that makes me feel a little more normal and comfortable. Yeah. Exactly.
Because energy is, what's the word? Energy, it goes back and forth. So like I'm chilling with you right now. Like we are, we're exchanging energies right now. So
and we're trying to share it with y'all.
Exactly. So it's like
you gotta be open to it.
Yeah. So when you hang out with someone, it's almost like when you leave their house or whatever you guys are doing, like check your energy. How do you feel? Like, do you feel drained? Do you feel happy? Do you feel like, what exactly did they provide for you? Yeah. And then think about if you want that moving forward.
True. Reflect.
Exactly. Yeah. Reflect. Like, but keep it balanced. Like,
yeah. I always say, actually, one of my best friends, shout out to Justin. I hope he watches this.
Shout out, Justin.
He like blew my mind one day, and we were sitting in college. We were at we were in the cafeteria, and he was talking about like energy, and he was just like, everything is energy. And like at the time I was very much getting into this stuff, like, and I was just like, it never really hit me like that. And I was just sitting there, and I think I was like mid-bite, and I was like,
oh,
fuck, like that's powerful. What I'm like putting into my mouth right now is energy. Like the fact that you just said that, it hit me with a certain frequency. All that shit plays out. That's part of what like fueled energy, like limitless theory, right? Like energy is limitless. There is no we say we live in like this infinite world that just keeps going on forever and ever because time is expanding and all these different things, right? When you get like really into the nuances of it. But energy is not lost nor created. It's just bouncing back and forth. So it's literally hitting one thing and going back, or it's going into one thing and then getting, spit back out in a different form. So that stuff plays out like insanely. But I mean, moving forward, like how are you taking all of this self-awareness and applying it to your business, and like how are you trying to take your product and represent that stuff?
Absolutely. So then that's a great question. Oh God, Dylan, I love this. Okay. So the purpose behind my organization, like my company, so the name is Fluoresce, and what that actually means is a light that is emitted from a substance that has absorbed light. So I interpret that to mean be the energy that you wish to attract. So I am constantly, like on a daily basis, telling myself, like, just be optimistic, be positive, like just kind of vibrate at a higher frequency, because then that is what I will get in return. And with that being said, my purpose is be the energy you wish to attract. So with my sunglasses and swimwear, what I'm really trying to promote is the fact that like you are beautiful, and I just want to illuminate your beauty. So with these sunglasses, with this swimwear, I'm just basically making you feel more confident, like more of a beautiful person. So go ahead.
No, I was just
okay. You were just agreeing.
I'm enjoying it. I'm watching the passion come out.
Yes, this is so like I just stand behind it 100% because I don't only like play that into my business, but I also play it into my personal life. So I am consistently telling myself, like, be the energy you wish to attract, like vibrate at a higher frequency, because that's what I want for myself, and not just myself, but like my friends, like for others. I want to see you grow. Like I want to grow, but I want to bring you with me as long as you want to come. Yeah.
Like what's the use in getting to a certain level if you're not there with anybody, right?
Exactly.
If no one's there with you.
Yeah. And it's like, once you're at that level, like think about how are you going to give back? Like how can you help others too? Maybe the less fortunate, like
And that's why I always say, like, ideas in are ideas out. When you take in an idea, you have to take action on it and then spit it right back out to somebody else. Like, hey, this is what I heard. This is what I did. This is what I learned. Here it is. Now you can piggyback off of me. And that's the other concept of like limitless theory is, if I get better every day, the next, say I am able to take the steps off of my parents' back, right? If they didn't choose to get better, then I would be playing out my life from the life that they took on. But they chose to get better, so now I'm able to start at that stepping stone that they are, currently at or had me at. And that plays out over time, that plays out over generations, that plays out over millennia in terms of, 300 years from now, what's going to be walking on the planet, I don't know. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But we can feel like we have a purpose in, or a part in deciding that stuff. And that's, I don't know, there's something about it that's just like wild to think about.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I touched on that topic with a very close friend of mine, and we like to call it like generational curses or blessings. So it's almost like you are a reflection of your parents. So like your habits, your characteristics, so they can either be blessings or curse from your generations. And at that point, you can kind of decide, do I want to carry this on or do I want to change it?
True.
Yeah, so.
I would say that they're both blessings.
Okay.
But you have the opportunity to change it.
For sure. Yeah. But if you don't change it, then where the curse comes in.
Yeah. So I get the nuance of it. But to tell people like, hey, you're in a generational curse, that's not really like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I come from like the health professional standpoint. So like, how can we put people in a better mindset to just start making better choices?
For sure.
And like giving them that nuance of like, oh, it's just a generational curse that you're in, as opposed to like, listen, you could take this opportunity as a blessing and move forward with it, regardless of what end of the spectrum it's at. Now,
don't make me sound like a bad person. No, like, damn.
That was not the intent. That was not the intent. Now, I want you to dive a little bit more into like your products for people, because I feel like at this point, they're definitely like, wow, she's actually trying to bring something to light.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this moment, I sell sunglasses and swimwear, and I definitely want to expand my horizons and include other products in the future. But with that being said, I am also trying to figure out how I want to make my company and organization more meaningful. Like, I want to, in the future, maybe like donate half of the proceeds of every purchase to like people that need it. So maybe women that lack self-confidence, women with depression, like, and not only women, it's just that my products are focused on them right now.
Yeah.
Right now, give me a second. I gotta grow.
I'm just playing.
Yeah. So I actually, as my organization grows, I'm not money motivated. Like, I'm not here to make profits, although we all need profits to grow. But my purpose is that I just want to give back. Like, I want to make people feel beautiful, and I also want to help people grow along the way. So
I always think of it as like, you got to play the game to beat the game.
Okay.
Right? Like, Snoop Dogg definitely didn't want to like play the game, but he beat the shit out of it. Now he just smokes on TV. Like, nobody's going to say nothing to him.
At all.
So
like, oh my God, I've never thought about that, but go Snoop.
So like, those things play out. You got to play the game in order to like actually start doing exactly what you want to do. That man, he just wants to smoke everywhere he goes. So,
and he does it.
Now he does it. So where can people find your stuff? What's the easiest place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have my website up and running. It is shopfluoresce.com. And I also have an Instagram page that you can check out, and that is called shop.fluoresce. So you can purchase the products online, but you can also DM me through Instagram if you feel more comfortable that way. So we have some options for you.
Cool. And she can't deliver them right now because she is in this.
I'm in Florida. No, actually, my partner's up in Rhode Island.
Okay,
She's fulfilling orders, so we're good.
Right.
I'm on vacation, but Fluoresce is not.
So how many, are you just working with one person or two, or how many?
Right now, it's just me and my roommate.
Oh,
so
cool.
we are partners, yes. And then right now she's handling the back end for me while I came to Florida to expand my audience.
There you go.
Yeah.
And here we are expanding the audience.
I know. Thank you, Dylan, for letting me be here.
Of course. And you said this may become permanent. This may be something that you do in the future. Floridian life or Fluoresce in Florida.
Yes. So I am thinking about making a transition down here to Florida. So as I mentioned, I'm from Rhode Island, and I've just noticed that my audience is limited because it's only hot up there during the summer. And I also grew up there. So I feel like I'm well connected. I know people, like I have a good base up there. And so, which is why I decided to come down to Florida and expand my horizons. But with that being said, I kind of love it down here. I think I might move.
It's January. It's like beautiful out.
Yes.
So one thing I always tell people, especially now that I moved, if you're in a business situation and like really turn that rag, like get as much out of it as you can before you move.
Mm-hmm.
Really try to make as many connections as you can up there. Like, yeah, you have a lot of connections. You have a lot of people that you like hang out with, that you could be close with, that you like are, associated with, but there's still a million people in Rhode Island. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I left, I was like, damn, like I didn't take full advantage of it. Okay. I was kind of like, I always had someone to spend time with, but I didn't necessarily step out of those relationships or those groups to go spend time and meet like brand new people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas down here, when I got here, I had no other choice. It was like brand new people every day. I'm just going to go to different events. I'm going to go to different places. I drove Lyft and Uber and was like, hi, my name's Dylan. I own Limitless Theory. How can I help you?
Awesome.
So those things I always try to tell people, make sure before you, up and go, just make sure you really take full advantage of everything up there.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
But then like with that being said, it's just, I guess what's also kind of bringing me down to Florida is more of the environment. Mm-hmm. So then I've noticed like up north, let me see, I just feel like it's not as supportive. Mm-hmm. So I pride myself in the fact that I'm growing and I want people to grow with me. I am more than willing to help anyone out there that asks for it. Mm-hmm. Like if you want help building a website, if you want help like expanding your social media, if you want help with anything, I'm more than willing to help. But unfortunately, like I can't say that for everyone out there, like in the Northeast region. So
yeah,
that's also another reason. Like I've came to Florida, I've noticed like there's so many entrepreneurs out here that are willing to help, and I love it. Like that's what I need. I need an environment where everyone wants to grow and flourish together.
True.
Yeah.
And pay it forward.
For sure. But I'm gonna squeeze that rag. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna
squeeze the crap out of it because it does make a big difference. And although we may kind of feel that like there's less support up there, I think a lot of it just comes down to the people who know you from before don't want to see you grow. So if you meet new people up there that don't know who you are and they know you first as the owner of, Fluoresce, that's how they know you and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's different.
Okay.
Right? Then someone who's like, man, I remember Betty and QB Bang. I remember gym class. I remember math class. Like, she ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
I was the shit in math. Don't get me wrong.
But that's how people view, right? They view us as like what they used to know us as.
That's a fact. You're absolutely right, because I've since I started Fluoresce in Providence, I've done a few vendor events and I've actually met like really awesome people.
And they're probably much more supportive.
100%.
Than
100%.
Like that middle school person you reached out to and was like, hey, just wanted to let you know I started this. If you want to, support or be a part of it or anything. You're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Or they'll be like, yeah, and then like nothing.
Yeah.
100%.
A lot of people talk. not a lot of people walk, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share with everybody?
Let's see. Okay, let's see. I would say, okay, let's see. I'm all right. So my main takeaway, I've definitely emphasized on the fact that be the energy that you want to attract.
Mm-hmm.
Like always, always, always keep an optimistic attitude. Kind of visualize what it is that you want moving forward, and don't focus on other people's opinions, because it can just lead to disappointments and negative attitude, and that's not going to allow you to flourish. So just kind of stay true to your values, know exactly what it is that you want moving forward, and just execute. Like, because an idea can never, you can have ideas are great, like
They're
ideas are
all
awesome
over the place, right?
100%.
We have like 80,000 of them a day.
For sure. And then, but if you don't execute and actually make a plan and take action upon it, it will never grow into anything. So I guess my main takeaways is be the energy that you wish to attract, and also take that next step. Like if your goal seems way too big or unachievable in your mind, is not. Just break it down. Like make smaller goals and accomplish them one by one until you get to that bigger goal. So anything is achievable, and realistically we set our own limits. So just keep that in mind moving forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Everything from Hubie Bain to marine biology, accounting, management, owner
God.
of her own company. Check out everything. Like she said, we set our own limits. We are, right? Life is limitless.
That's a fact. But thank you so much for having me, Dylan. This is so awesome. I love what you're doing, limitless theory, and helping other people grow and just figure it out.
Thank you. That's all we can do, right?
Yes.
Pay it forward. All right, guys, take care. Make sure to check everything she's got going on, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace. Just want to say thank you guys. All the help, all the love, all the support is going a long way. A lot of big opportunities are coming my way as a result of you guys sharing and talking so highly about the content that we're putting out there on this platform. So thank you. Please continue to do that. Reviews, sharing, comments, likes, all of it helps. Thank you guys once again. Once again, we are partnering with the best of the best in these brands and services on all of the topics and industries that we are covering here on the podcast. If you guys have any insight or amazing products and services or people that you want to open up my platform to, please let me know and check out the following. You won't be disappointed. First off, y'all gotta go check out shopfluoresce.com, Betty's amazing website that has sunglasses and swimwear for the ladies, and men's lines hopefully coming soon, as we mentioned in the podcast. But that's shopfluoresce.com, Shop Fluoresce, and there's a 10% off discount code in the show notes below, so make sure to go check it out. Peace. I would also love for you guys to check out motives.com/limitless theory. Motives is an awesome cosmetics line that is really starting to lead the way, especially in the social media realm, with their collaborations. The founder, Lauren Reidinger, is amazingly connected in the celebrity world. We have collaborations with the Kardashians and people like Lala Anthony, who has created a very awesome product and what we call a custom palette. She is really allowing makeup artists to use their artistry like no other company in the cosmetics world is, by allowing them to create cosmetics, customized cosmetic combinations, I guess you could say, for all races and ethnicities and colors of skin, which is a really, really, really cool thing to see live. But anyways, if you want to learn more, check out motives.com/limitless theory, and if you want to try a product, toss in the code 10OFFMA at checkout for 10% off. Alright, y'all, and lastly we have an amazing partner store that Betty is a huge fan of and often shops at, the one and only Macy's. Now, if you know anything about anything, you know that Macy sells just about anything and can get you just about anything you may need when it comes to the department store fashion type of products. So definitely take advantage of it. You can earn 2% cash back if you are a preferred customer, which means you simply have a free account on shop.com. And you can earn 2% cash back every time you spend money at Macy's. That includes buying online and getting it shipped to the store and picking it up for free. That includes just buying it online and getting it brought straight to your door. That also may include the ability to go into the store and buy it through the shop.com app and pick it up right then and there after you try it on. All things that are possible if you create a free shop.com/limitless theory account. All you have to do is enter a little bit of information, and if you are a UFO and you own your own shop.com business, then you can actually earn IBV and commissions on Macy's.com. So make sure to take advantage of that. If you want to learn more, always feel free to reach out. And once again, I want to say thank you for all the partnerships and sponsors on today's podcast.